reticent to tell the truth. But so I think you'll see more from Liz Cheney soon. I haven't talked to her about it. I have no idea, but I would expect that, she's just so committed to this stuff. To go there, to have one of his staff members push a worker who probably was pretty angry because she saw what was happening, which is these people that she's been committed probably her life to honoring, he's gonna go there and make a mockery of it. And if you get into his head for one moment, you just have to say, this is a guy that literally cannot fathom what it means to do something bigger than yourself. That's when you see, and I'm not saying that for sympathy, but this is what's happening to families all around this country.
Did Trump just prove Adam Kinzinger right by throwing a tantrum over being called weak? The former Republican congressman delivered a devastating assessment of Trump as a man with the resilience of a soggy paper towel, and Trump's reaction was exactly what you'd expect. Is this the most brutal takedown of Trump's fake tough guy image we've ever seen? Kinzinger didn't just criticize Trump's policies. He went straight for the ego, calling out the massive gap between Trump's macho posturing and his actual behavior. And boy, did Trump lose it. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Do you recall Trump's assertion that he was the strongest and most resilient president to ever hold the office? That picture was destroyed more quickly than documents in a White House restroom. In addition to criticizing Trump, Adam Kinzinger completely destroyed the former president's tough guy image with a verbal assault that would have made WWE pundits cringe.
Is getting texts from old friends. My co-pilot I flew with in Iraq texting me that he's ashamed to have ever flown with me.
This is a guy who got a medical exemption through his father's connections, saying that his feet were too bad to serve while he was playing on the basketball team at his school. Is this something that you guys would talk about? Like, oh boy, wow, he's got something going on there.
But there are so many people I talk to that are sitting around like, I just can't speak out. I can't.
They're scared.
Yeah, they're scared.
Yeah.
I had somebody tell me, actually a number of people tell me, Adam, and this is when I was still in, Adam, I appreciate what you're doing. Donald Trump came in and basically has said, it's all about me. The only thing that matters to him is his ego and what that means for him, not for the country.
On national television, Kinzinger went all savage. There was no script, no filter, just an unvarnished attack on the man who enjoys giving out, but who clearly can't handle being given a taste of his own medicine. And people, this wasn't your typical policy dispute. Rather, it was a methodical breakdown of the strong guy persona that Trump has spent decades cultivating. When referring to Trump as a weak man pretending to be strong and a small man pretending to be big, the former congressman didn't hold back. What a way to get right to the core of Trump's entire ploy. In essence, Kinzinger dismantled Trump's public character, revealing it to be nothing more than a lavish costume worn by an insecure guy. But hold on, things will improve. In fact, Kinzinger characterized Trump's aroma, and it's not the scent of success that Trump's cologne most likely purports to be. Kinzinger compares Trump's scent to armpits, ketchup, a butt, and makeup all in a blender. Trump frequently makes personal insults like that to other people. But what about when he's the target? Complete collapse. Kinzinger's military experience adds even more potency to his takedown. As a military guy who respects strength and leadership, Trump is the opposite of that, says a man who has been in the military and understands what true strength looks like. That statement carries a lot of weight. They truly know what they're talking about. So it's like having a professional chef tell you that your food tastes awful. For poor Donald, the timing couldn't have been worse. Kinzinger shows up to take off the mask in front of everyone while he is struggling to keep up his strongman persona while mired in legal issues. It's similar to going to a Halloween party and having your costume torn off, exposing your tighty whities underneath. Donald, it doesn't seem good. The way Kinzinger methodically revealed each of Trump's character defects one by one was more damaging than the colorful comments alone. Trump's public image was being cut up, but it was still meticulous, like seeing being a professional butcher at work. What specifically did Kinzinger say that infuriated Trump then? He described him as a faithless man pretending to be righteous, as well as a perpetrator who can't stop playing the victim. Trump's carefully cultivated image is being targeted, which is where it hurts the most. Kinzinger basically calls Trump a phony in front of him after he has spent his entire life trying to prove that he is a victorious, tenacious, and powerful leader. As Trump's crew rushed to react, you could almost sense the panic in Mar-a-Lago. Their panicked response demonstrated how badly Trump's ostensibly thick skin was pierced by Kinzinger's remarks. When someone confronts Trump with his behavior, he bruises easily, despite his claims to be strong as nails. The most astounding thing is that Kinzinger's removal was characterized as a complete dismantling of Trump. This was a thorough dismantling of the illusion that Trump has been pushing to the American people, not just a few insults. It seems as though Kinzinger released a thorough report on the emperor's nudity with full-color images rather than only pointing out that he is naked. In addition to destroying Trump's reputation, Kinzinger's verbal sabotage revealed the frail ego that was concealed beneath the bravado. Trump boasts of being tough as nails, yet his responses to criticism show that he is a deeply insecure individual who cannot tolerate even the slightest resistance without erupting into a tantrum fit for a president. The irony beyond Trump's cosmetics. Being a tough-talking, no-nonsense alpha male who tells it like it is and fights back harder than anybody else is the foundation of this man's entire brand. He has positioned himself as the quintessential strongman, the man who knows everything, can solve everything, and has no fear. But what do you find when you scrape that orange surface? His tolerance for criticism is about as strong as a soggy paper towel. Take a look at his history on Twitter, or what we now refer to as his Truth Social tirades. A self-assured leader wouldn't have sent those famous angry tweets at 3 in the morning. They were online outbursts from someone who just couldn't take the fact that he was being disparaged. Trump was crouched over his phone in the middle of the night, texting frantically with those small fingers because someone on cable TV had questioned his IQ, whereas most presidents would be, presidenting. And what occurs when he receives sincere criticism? Does he provide facts to support it? Have a meaningful discussion? No! "It's a witch hunt," he exclaims as he instantly grabs his favorite security blanket. This is how he always reacts to anything, whether it's legal issues, bad press, or even someone telling him he made a mistake. It is comparable to observing a young child who believes that a single magic phrase will always get them out of trouble. Former employees of the White House have revealed how cautiously they had to handle Trump's fragile emotional state. The leaders of the free world were compared to a grumpy kid who might toss his juice box if he heard something he didn't like. They talked about avoiding him, ignoring bad news, and only showcasing the positive. Take a moment to consider that. To prevent a meltdown, the man with the nuclear codes needed emotional support. The way Kinzinger's critique depicts this reality is what makes it so heartbreaking. He hit the nail on the narcissistic head when he said that Trump can't be seen as a loser and has no empathy for anything but himself. This is a clear description of the insecurity that motivates Trump's actions, not just political mudslinging. Genuinely strong leaders deal directly with criticism. They listen, think, and occasionally even own up to their mistakes. They don't need everyone to tell them they're the greatest genius in history and kiss their ring. Trump, though, every time someone doubts his grandeur, he melts in the Mar-a-Lago sun faster than an ice cream cone. Kinzinger's analogy of Trump to a 6-year-old boy still trying to earn his father's approval is particularly poignant because it is so blatantly accurate. All of that arrogance and boasting about being the finest at everything are not the behaviors of a self-assured man. They are the frantic screams of someone who is continuously looking for approval and has never felt good enough. Do you recall how Trump snaps at anyone who tries to criticize him? He has disparaged everyone who disagrees with him, called combat heroes losers, made fun of crippled reporters, and insulted Gold Star families. However, when the roles are reversed, he becomes the most persecuted individual in American history. It's similar to witnessing a bully in the playground who lashes out all day but breaks down in tears when someone confronts him. If the pattern weren't so harmful, it would be comical because it is so predictable. Trump flings insults like confetti at a parade, yet he acts as though he is being tortured when the wind blows some back in his face. He uses the same strategy for all of his criticism: deny, deflect, attack, accuse, and then use the witch hunt argument. Trump's thin-skinned responses are predictable, but what's really astounding is how his followers turn these glaring flaws into apparent advantages, even though he was a complete failure at operating a casino, which was created to steal money from people's wallets. The man manages to keep up his reputation as a financial whiz. It's religious devotion as well as political strategy. As Kinzinger noted, he's built a cult of personality, and when you go after the leader of a cult, it's almost like going after somebody's religion. He was spot on. Facts bounce off Trump's fans like bullets off Superman, and this aptly illustrates why. It feels like sacrilege to criticize your leader when your political identity transforms into your spiritual identity. Kinzinger's personal cost for voicing this fact demonstrates the extent of this cult mindset. He received texts from old friends who expressed their embarrassment at ever flying with him. Even worse, he was officially disowned by his own extended family members, who sent him a certified letter, not even a text, calling him part of the devil's army. Just for pointing out that Emperor Trump is naked, you could imagine receiving it in your mailbox. Kinzinger has a special credibility when evaluating leadership traits because he is a war veteran who served in Iraq. Trump is scared to death of strong people, was his conclusion. Trump picks battles with nations like Canada because it's a safe bullying tactic that keeps up his tough guy persona without posing any serious risks. In the meantime, he steers clear of direct conflict like a cat steers clear of the bathtub. The most intriguing aspect of Trump's cult is how his supporters do mental acrobatics on par with the Olympics to justify his obvious inconsistencies. While he frantically conceals his tax returns, they hail him as a business tycoon. Despite his amazing feat of bankrupting a casino which essentially prints money, they revere his purported financial savvy. According to Kinzinger, this is the same man who somehow managed to bankrupt a casino, a business model literally designed to vacuum money out of people's pockets. Trump's supporters just fabricate an other universe where facts don't exist when they become inconvenient. Bring up the fact that their hero evaded military duty? He would have been the most courageous soldier in history. They will tell you. Bring up his several bankruptcies. They'll call it a clever tax move. Seeing individuals stand in the rain and insist that the water isn't wet is like that. The greatest irony is that Trump's supporters see his incessant complaining as a sign of his strength. As Kinzinger put it, for a guy who claims to be the toughest, strongest, most fearless leader in modern history, he sure does complain a lot. What a paradox. During the Salem trials, Trump yells "witch hunt" more often than real witches, yet his fans strangely interpret this as a sign of a powerful leader opposing evil forces rather than a man-child who throws tantrums. Trump's legal issues only serve to increase his support, which is explained by this cult mentality. Justice is not perceived as catching up to wrongdoing in spite of every indictment, testimony, and damning piece of evidence. It's reframed as evidence that he is afraid of the deep state instead. Instead than just rejecting the data, his supporters use it to justify their loyalty. What Trump fears most is what's really telling. Kinzinger claims that he doesn't fear investigations. What he truly fears is being exposed as a fraud. This reaches the core of Trump's mentality. All of his bravado, insults, and incessant self-promotion are a defense against his biggest fear, which is that people will see through the curtain and realize he is just a little man with a microphone and not a wizard. Trump pretends to have the affection and support of everyone, but the truth is far more sinister. Communities, friendships, and families have all been shattered by his cult of personality. This is demonstrated by Kinzinger's personal experience. It is not typical political discourse for relatives to send certified letters of disownment over political disagreements. Simply said, it's cult behavior.